We'll go as followed. First, we'll obviously take a look at XRP. We'll take a look at the charts, see where we close in the futures, and see what the most likelihood is going into the weekend, as we do get the escrow dump on Sunday, which makes it pretty tricky being on a weekend. So we have that variable that plays. We've got a few other scenarios that we have to talk about with some developing news today. um, and it's going to be a I think it's going to be an interesting live. I think it's going to be an interesting live, assuming everything loads up properly, so on and so forth. But seemingly everything looks fine to me on my end. So that's good news right off the bat. Um, and then we'll go into, after we get done with some of the charts, touch base a little bit. Well, we got to go into the stuff that Ripple released. It's a pretty interesting thing. They revealed guidance, and we'll get into it. I have the official documents with the talking and all that good stuff. I shared a video for some who weren't going to be able to be in the live. It's only like a 6.5 minute video, but I read through the document. We'll read through it together again. This is, I made it very strategic and not just my title for this live. Not even bringing up XRP. I don't even know the last time I did a live title without XRP in it. Maybe never, if I'm being honest. But I mean what I said. Ripple leaks the blueprint. Banks are replacing retail. And I went and I really tried to make a visual representation in the image I used for this live. You're allowed to give your feedback, good or bad, what you thought of it. But I decided I wanted to go with something that would be able to and it took a while to come up with this. Like, I had to do a lot of editing and get AI to do exactly what I wanted, but this is what I see happening with all this. And we'll go more over this picture after, but I want you to focus on the bottom left or bottom right now. So you can see at retail's dispense, fee dispensers, at retail's dispense, bank controlling retail on ramps and off ramps. So basically, this picture is trying to show you the guts of the new system and how they're basically sending us into as replacements. Let's just say they're replacing us. They're single-handedly replacing crypto and retail with the banks. The banks are taking over. It's why you see exchanges like crypto.com and others are now trying to become their own bank. So they're moving away so much from needing retail, and they're going for the institutions in the big banking sectors, the big money. So things are starting to line up, and I can promise you one thing: if we do recognize this in the right way and we don't get ahead of ourselves, we're going to get an unbelievable opportunity to ride a wave. I just don't know where it's going to start. It could go all the way down to 56 cents or 53 cents, and if it holds that, we have the all-time cup and handle for XRP. But before I get into this, let me first thank C137 Stolen for a $2.99 super chat to start this live outright. Says, you will not work for free, my brother. Says, hi, future millionaire. Are we close to the bottom? C1, not exactly. I'll go over that right after the intro just for you. But even right now, with the descending triangle not being retaken at $1.56, even though we broke over twice, in fact, got all the way to $1.65 and got rejected multiple times and couldn't hold, the technical target right now, unless otherwise noted, is 86.6 cents. We could go all the way down in the all-time cup and handle to just about 53 to 56, but we'll talk about that after the intro. Good evening. 5:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, February 27th, 2026. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan with all of my friends within. The core members are phenomenal in here. The newer members are gaining steam, but the core is what makes it right. My core members in here, the group we've put together, I'd stack them up against any other community in the world. We have something unique. We have special minds, special hearts. We have a level of integrity that doesn't allow us to lie to each other. And we try to do this in the best way possible, not for I, but for us. Not for me, but for we. Right? Not for the independent soul, for the entirety of the souls. We want everybody to be involved. So I'm going to answer that question, C1, so you can see it in real time. As I believe this weekend could be the propagation of some kind of war, expansion. Gold and silver told us a lot to end the day. And if you don't have precious metals right now, you are missing out, man. I'm not talking about miners. I'm talking about straight precious metals. The miners are one thing, they're great, but the precious metals are where it's at right now. Only because when you get into this expansive nature, I mean, we're going to see something we've never seen before. Just get ready. Just get ready, everybody. So, answering the question from C137 Stolen, and I much appreciate you sending a super chat. That's unbelievably generous. I really appreciate that. So to answer your question better, first step, we'll look at it more in the micro sense, and then I'll show you the macro targets. Okay? But you have to understand what's going on in real time and why we're in a devastating positioning right now. This is exactly why. And right now we're at the bottom of the liquidity box, which we'll talk about after it at a 10.2% area. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on where you come from, I don't want anybody to think opportunity's not going to come a knocking. Just if you do it improperly, you're going to go a rocking right off the side of the boat. Like, that's just the bottom line. Don't go a rocking when there's knocking. You know, you're going to be over the side. You're going to go over the side of the boat. Hopefully you got a float. In this market, you're going to be a bloat. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to say that. Anyhow, let's continue. So we started here, Stolen, C1. I'm going to call you C. Or no, I like C137. C137. It started off fine. Resistance, support, but in the same time, shoulder, head, shoulder. And it just wasn't meant to be a shoulder, head, shoulder. It was meant, as we thought, would come back up to a double top. With that kind of steam, usually it'll come back around, you know, and validate that we were in a bear market now, that this is the start of a bear market, which we've identified very cleanly. And it started right here. See this second hit of resistance? That's fine. Everything looked fine. But once we started to go boom, and then we tapped here a second time, that's still fine. Normal consolidation. Nothing to see here, folks. Come down to tap the flat support. That was the first time on that October 10th, or whatever it was, the historic liquidation. On this particular chart, it started to give us the identity of a possible descending triangle with that flat support. And we're like, oh, shit. Like, okay, that's one thing, the resistance, another resistance. But now we have a high, a lower high, a low, a flat low, same. Come back up and around, gain steam, get rejected a third time, validating the descending triangle, fall right through the floor. Over 70% of the move for sure. Breaks down and gives us a technical target of 86 point, well, about 8 cents. 86.6, 86.8, same difference. Now, we had to come back up after a phenomenal drop. We went down to $1.11, created a lower low, which told us we were going to have a little bit of volatility to the upside. We took advantage of it. Some of us did as a community. Some of us didn't. Some of us are waiting on the sidelines. And what ends up happening here is we create a liquidity box. Anything inside this liquidity box is fair game to not technically break down, but the lower you get and the more times you tap it, the more likely it is you're going to fall through here and go to a new low. Getting rejected not only here, but going all the way up to $1.65 and filling out the ABC correction. And if you don't know what that is, I'll draw it out for you real quick. So there's something called the Wickoff, or I mean oh shit, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm talking about 5 things at once. The Elliott wave. So the Elliott wave theory, and you'll get into the Wickoff distribution, all that crap within it, but the Elliott wave, in this part, in this theory, we're talking about a 3-wave correction, which would be an ABC. So here, let me just show you what it was. So basically, XRP from the bottom created an A wave perfectly, B down, C for a final wave, which means now it's possible that we start a fresh 5 waves down unless we were going to an expansive DE, which could have been an ABCDE, which was less likely, but unfortunately it created a right shoulder. So I highly doubt that that's what's happening. But at the same time, maybe it is. Who knows? Now, if we're starting a fresh wave count down, I don't think it's a corrective wave count. I think it would be a fresh 5 waves to the downside if you go by the Elliott wave. There's just one caveat here that could be met, but the way the week is ending tells you we got a problem here. So you got 1 down, correction up, 2 down is going to bring us probably back down to that $1.11 area. Maybe a little bit shorter because you might have to do something like this and then drop out, okay? So that might be what we're looking at, something like that. I understand I'm breaking a little bit of the rules, but I'm doing this for more of a visual learning experiment so that you can see what could be happening after the C corrective wave. So then you start A down, B up, C down, D up, and you finish with the E corrective wave down to the technical target. That could be what's starting right now. And if that's what's starting right now, that's not the only issue here. Yes, that's the target of that descending triangle, 100%. 100%. But there's even more going on here. You know, we have even more going on. If we wanted to break up when it got to $1.65, we hold $1.56, we could have come up here. We also could have had, and what's horrible here is, well, you won't know this if you're new, so I will have to go in and explain that in more detail. But hold on, sorry. So let me go to the other part where we had the over-the-top liquidity if we were going to bounce up there. Notice we've come out, got rejected at the bearish rejection, the bearish confirmation zone. Now we're back within this lower liquidity box. Once you break this, it's over. Then you got to at least come down to $1.23 roughly in real time. Or somewhere within $1.23 to $1.26, somewhere within that area we're projecting right now, but not really. So if we were going to do an A, B, C, D, E, this is what it would have had to look like. Have we technically invalidated it? Probably. By getting that rejection at $1.47, it's telling us, as a matter of fact, even if we can hold, we're probably coming back down and retesting that $1.18. If you come all the way to the apex, it's $1.10. But I'm not convinced this would hold if we break this wall down because we have the lower technical targets. But until we break this down and we have the CME and FEG gap over the top, but those are breakaway gaps as of right now. And what a breakaway gap means is it's either the start of a bear market or the confirmation of a continuing downtrend or the reversal of market structure. Because we're on the downtrend, this is confirming even more that we have that over the top, that we're in a breakaway gap right now. No, you got sound is choppy. Oh, man. So that means everybody's going to have to restart. No, you got sound is choppy. Yeah, because mine sounds fine. If it's choppy, restart the stream. If everybody can tell people to restart it, I can't help that. I can't help sometimes what YouTube does, but you guys can help each other and let each other know what needs to be done. So I'm not sure this is going to happen. We'll see. It's still within this consolidation, but I'm almost thinking maybe we started after the C corrective wave, we started a 5 wave down. So here's the confliction here. So I'll keep the 5 wave if that's what it's going to do to the top. I just don't think it's going to do an A, B, C, D, E. I think it was more of an ABC correction like we had initially. And why I say that is we had the ABC set up prior to the run up, and we matched it to $1.65. And the fact it hit $1.65 and stopped is all I needed to see. It's following it by the book. So that's a problem. It's a problem. I don't think we're in an ABCD. I really don't. But what I can see here, and let me move this real quick so I can do something I've never done with an indicator for you. So what it's looking like here is we have a shoulder to a head. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell happened here? That's not what I was supposed to do. I accidentally hit it the wrong way. To a head. And this could possibly be a right shoulder here. So do we have a... not there. Why did I put it down there? Shoulder, head, shoulder. Is that what's happening? I see left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And if that's the case, that would validate this movement starting. And it's not for the faint of heart. The head would be the start of the first corrective wave. The resistance tap would be the start of the second the corrective wave up. third wave's down. Now, does it break down this pattern first? Like, do we break down the pattern or do we do something like this? Whoops, fucking A, I messed it up because I crossed it with the other one. Man, I have it on the other chart, so I won't cross it up on this chart here. Let me just go back to this so the head and shoulders stays. But do we start something more like this now? And I put A, B, C, D, E, but it's a 5 wave is the point. Did we start something? We could have started something. We could have started something. So if we did, it's a problem because then we're going to have the 5 waves down and it's really going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And an A, B, C, D, E is not what it is. This is not a corrective. This is just a flat 5 waves down. So now if we get above that descending triangle, we could invalidate this thesis, but unfortunately the thesis has gotten stronger as the week's gone on. Agreed? It's probably down, but when? You're watching it. There's no timetable, friends. Just watch it. Let it happen. You never know exactly how long it's going to take. But right now, you know, we've really only got $1.33 left, and it's about $1.23 to $1.26. You got a mid-tier support at $1.18, extending all the way down to $1.11. But the technical target right now is 86.6. Now, to finish your question, to finish the question for C137, if we go into the all-time chart, and I have a different chart made for this. I have a bunch of them if you're new. This is the all-time pattern, and it's formed a cup and handle. The handle happens to be a descending wedge, which gives us a low support target. If it goes to the apex out in, I believe it's August. Yep. It's 56.8 cents. So in reality, XRP's bottom line, if we don't want to invalidate this structure, we have to hold 56.8 cents at all costs. Otherwise, I hate to say it's over, but we will be testing gaps that you never thought possible. I mean, there's a gap all the way down at about 10.6 cents that was left after the lawsuit was announced and we bounced out volatility and never came back. There's also a gap somewhere within the 2.5 to 3.6 cent range that nobody ever really talks about except me and Nick and maybe MQ. But it's there. Oh, it's there. So I'm not going to focus on those until we break this down. I will not focus on that until we break that descending wedge down on this all-time cup and handle because there's no reason to yet. Now, if we break this down, oh, buddy, are we going to get historically cheap prices? And yes, we could 10, 50, who knows how many X's. That's why you want it to go down to 3 cents if you have liquidity and you're not sitting through it. Because if you buy it at 3 cents, if it goes to 30, you 10x. And it'll go back to 30. Now, if you reset this whole thing, the bottom line is if this breaks down and this descending wedge gets invalidated, which it hasn't had a third tap, so the third tap could send it through. It's got 3 taps to the top, 2 already to the bottom. Missed it here, doesn't count. Missed it here, doesn't count. Close but no cigar, no stogie in store. But what I see here again, just like we've seen in the micro pattern, which is scaring the shit out of a lot of people, and it really should. Let me get the old drawing tool out real quick. Shoulder, head, okay. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 down, down. This would be considered a lower shoulder. However, you could say it's I'm topping reversal, which I think is more appropriate. Top 1, top 2, elevator up, stairs down kind of thing, right? And we're doing it. So I think we're on a topping reversal right now. Now, does it break down? Or does it hold this all-time pattern and push us up to $6.42 from 50-something cents? So we can get a 10x, but where's it going to come from? I don't think it's going to be plus $1 when that happens again. I think it's going to be somewhere around the mid 50-cent level. I don't even think 86.6 is going to hold. I think we still need to come back down for a third tap. And that's just my own opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, but that's what I see happening. And my history speaks for itself. I don't have to gloat. I won't gloat. Because then you guys will float me down the river and set me on fire for my proper rest. So, but what I will say is I don't think anybody has the track record that I've given you in the time I've given you since March 24th of 2021 without a single. We're almost 5 years straight without me taking a day off in here. And I don't ever plan on taking a day off. I really don't. So, um, I just think we know something in here and we can see things and we don't sugarcoat it. And I think I don't know, man. I just think, I think that we've done something special in here. And it's not just me, it's we. If it wasn't for all of you, I wouldn't even know some of the stuff I know. Remember that. A lot of the tokens. Heck, there's been a lot of things that I learned deeper because one with Nick, with gaps, fair value gaps, and CME gaps and things like that. I learned deeper the Elliott wave because of MQ. So, it's a combined effort here. And you'll know what I'm talking about if you're in the Telegram. Those two are on freaking point that I had to create them their own channel within the Telegram. Nick does a lot of the in detail with the gaps and the numbers and where we're going and things like that. MQ does similar, but he also does it from the leverage side as well, to where he tries to give proper guidance on how to leverage trade. Obviously, I don't advise it, but he's definitely a great person to teach you. So, especially from a weaker trader, I don't advise you to do leverage at all, ever. It's my personal opinion. Others have different varying opinions, but I think it releases the gambling side of the brain. So I hope that was a good rundown. C137. And I know your name was something else in here before, and I can't remember what it was, because I know you've been in here for a while. I just can't remember what your name was before YouTube changed it. It says, always been on the money, Tom. I appreciate that, C. What was your name in here before YouTube changed all the names on here, out of curiosity? I feel like you've been in here for a long time. And I'll come check on that in a second as I say hi to everybody. Dan Marginow, Defined, welcome in, along with Maple Man. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Awesome to see 100 people here on this Friday evening. If you stick around, I'll read you those official documents after I say hello to everybody. Define says here, and Define's a very trusted mod in here, along with 1970 Legend, our fellow Buckeye in the house. They're looking for a big win in basketball. They need one quad one win, and I think they're going to make the tournament. So you got a big game coming up, unless I already missed it. No, I think it's coming up. Define says, hey, everyone, hit that like on the way in. Consider subscribing and joining Tom's Army for the best technical analysis on YouTube. Every day you are not in the Telegram, you are missing out. Why wait? And I think that's to the core. Thanks, Define. I hope you, your wife, kids, everybody's doing blessed. Juan, welcome in, my brother. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge, along with the Ricci Farms. Crypto Cooter, another very trusted mod in here with 1970 Legend and Defined. All three of those aforementioned, or 4 people, are in Tom's Army over 1 year. Thank you, Crypto Cooter says, good evening. Does everyone have their popcorn for the war this week? I know, I had that same feeling coming in. Hamburger Helper, what's up, brother? Says, what's up, baby? It's Friday from Michigan. Let's go. Yeah, in Michigan, I don't know if you're a basketball fan, but we have another gauntlet tonight. We're playing at Illinois, number 10 at 8 o'clock, which we haven't won. We've lost our last 9 games against Illinois, so we need to win tonight. We need a big win. Help us lock it up. We need a big freaking win. Rubio just told any American in Iran to get out. Did he really? I did not see that, Roscoe. Holy smokes, he must have did it when I was setting up my live. Well, unfortunately, the feeling is heightened that I have going in. Oh, yeah, and testicular fortitude and confidence, right, Juan? But you need to have the proper testicular fortitude. I don't think I've said that in a while. Family-friendly show. I don't know why 10% of you left, but I honestly don't care. We got a great core. We'll gain other members, so the ones who left are just missing out. But the core members, you are delightful. As I said before, a few days ago, I realized my delivery, what was actually wrong with one part of it. The core members are all that really matter. You guys are the goats. You are the goats of a community. Like, literally. I've never met anybody who quite was this connected as a group, and it's amazing. The core makes it happen, believe it. And the members of Tom's Army, the reason I thank them is they're the reason why you're watching this without advertising. Ever. I didn't even put them in my other videos anymore. That's as a sign of respect to the members who are part of Tom's Army, so you don't have to watch ads. Because every 4 to 5 minutes in the live, an ad would be running, and it's YouTube. Canvas Podcast, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year. Rubriane, thank you so much, my friend, along with Tim. And Nick Nack Paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Welcome back. Hard saying good evening. Hopefully the sound is better for anybody who restarted. Hard saying good evening. Oh, you refreshed and it was better. Excellent. GA, Clink, Dunbar, Shane. Thank you both for being in town during 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Shane, thanks for continuing to be dedicated. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, work and life in general, but I appreciate seeing all of you continue to dedicate towards our united goal. Could we double bottom and invalidate this? We could, but it's going to take work, Shane. It's going to take work. We first need to take out that $1.56 and hold it, and ultimately get above that CME/FVG area and take that as a area of support. But right now it looks awful. C137 says, I'm really hoping to see a strong decline while I restock cash to buy back in. Excellent. And I think you're going to get that opportunity over time. I'll let you guys know if something changes, but as of right now, nothing's changed. No volume at all. Nick Nack knows what I'm talking about. Let's see. Who did I miss? Go to the gym, bro. What's going on? Lost my ass this season in leverage trading. I'm you know what? I admire the fact that you told the audience that just now. And thanks for being in Tom's under 3+ months with the XP Meteor. It is absolutely a learning experience you need to have. It's happened to me. I'll be honest with everybody else. Years ago, I had Bagelgate when I first started in this community. You know, probably in 2022. And I had we had just got our house and we hadn't bought it yet, but we were kind of in a rough position. There's just a lot of stuff that happened that I don't really need to go into right now, but a lot of you know if you're the core members. And I had Bagelgate, and I had turned 600 into about $2,000. And I went to make my bagel, and I didn't think the market was, I knew it was going to drop, but I thought I had time still to finish out the move. And it was already a phenomenal move. And the leverage was too high. I'll acknowledge that even. I think it was like a 15x or something like that. 10 or 15, I can't remember at this point. Didn't matter. That was one of the times that crypto, for one of the first times Bitcoin dropped 10,000 points in one fair swoop. If anybody remembers the FTX collapse. Oops, I was in a leverage trade during that, when that first started. Even though I knew we were about to collapse, I still got a little too frisky. I should have cashed out. Or I should have at least just let it ride my initial investment and took the other 2/3 out. I get the bagel out, everything's fine. I butter the bagel, my phone starts going out of control. Says I was liquidated, and I was just sitting there, my heart dropped. And I had money on the sideline for the drop, but I wasted capital that I could have used at the time for not just me, but for our family and things like that. And I felt so bad about it that I literally walked in the room and I collapsed on the bed and I threw a blanket over me. And I told Julia, I fucked it up. And she's like, now you gotta, and she's like this. And it became a moment to where I grew. But that's recency bias too. That's only 3 years ago. Bagelgate happened with all my experience. So if it can happen to me, a moment like that, because of greed, I knew what I was looking at. I knew the market was in turmoil with volatility. I was even talking about the Terra Luna stuff back then with the UT Terra stablecoin, how it was going to collapse the market. Then FTX happens, all this other crap. And, that buyer beware kind of thing when you trade leverage. So much like go to the gym, bro, he said it's part of the experience lesson learned. Now we regroup 100%. I'm way better off now because of that experience. And it made me work even harder, look for more ideas. And it actually allowed me to increase my portfolio with that big mistake. It took a while to return rally and to do it properly, but it happened. 23, did it properly again after in that bear market, let it ride until late 24, early 25. And well, now, the government just took a whole shitload in taxes, which that's another story for another day, or watch the first one. The first live from today. I really don't care to talk about it anymore, but you might as well get on the toilet because the shit's going to be drained out of you when you do your crypto taxes this year. There's so much stuff. If you move stable coins around the way you're going to get hammered, buddy. Alls I know. I paid more in taxes this year than I've made every single year of my life except, 2? I paid more in taxes than I was making the entire year. And every year except one, because we had a historic rally in crypto, and You guys know I had a 15, 20,000 in there and we 10x'd. And that was just, yeah. And then there was gains along the way. I had a killing in commodities. So I used a bunch of money. It cost me 90 something thousand dollars to fix up my house. So when I cashed out, you know, it ended up costing me about that much in taxes, which was a kick in the nuts because it's not even, it's not, it basically, I basically wiped out my entire profits by fixing my house up and paying that extraordinary tax bill. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And that's why crypto is jumping the shark. It's worse this year than it's ever been. All the little fees and nuances and things they make you do. So even if you think you're going to get around it, now you got to send a PDF or documentation in when you do your crypto taxes this year. Oh, get ready for that. Get ready for the fact that even if you download your exchange, you still have to send documentation in. The PDF. So get ready. I'm just telling you, get ready. It's a whole different system this year and it sucks. And it's costly. And I lost my ass in taxes, let me tell you. That entire mining portfolio is essentially wiped out. Oh, I'm glad that it was good for you, C137. Awesome. Was great, Tom. Thank you. I changed it a year plus ago. Just my real name. Excellent. Okay, so I figured Jake. Okay, that makes more sense. Jake, I want my mind to associate it with you now with C137. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Damon, welcome in. Hard saying, Sola Jeffy, good evening to all my friends and brothers and sisters. As we give all the glory to God, we before I can thank William for the gifted subs, I want to take a moment out, say a prayer real quick, not for myself, but for Mighty Marcus, for the ones of you in here. You know Mighty Marcus, bearded Viking, and his wife. Mighty Marcus has been fighting the good fight for way too long for a young little man. Very brave soul. He gains a lot of positivity when we talk about him, we've been told. And I just want to pray to Yahweh Yeshua real quick, Emmanuel, Jesus Christ, for the guiding hand for Mighty Marcus so he can continue to win the good fight. And we stay in the most positive path possible with the least resistance for him pain-wise. And we pray for the mental toughness for Bearded Viking and his wife as they continue to guide him along, do what they need to do. And it hits me hard because my son has a lot of issues as well. Not fighting the good fight, but fighting his own fight. My son's special needs. He's nonverbal, autistic, but he had a very serious accident when he was 6 months old, and it's left him, a little gimped with his leg, and just there's a lot of factors that most of you know about. So just amen. Amen. Bearded Viking, if you're watching, we're always thinking about you, brother, and your wife, and your son. It's always on our heart, mind, and soul. William Hayes, thank you so much for believing in what I do, not only in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor, but also sending 5 gifted subs. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. King Christopher, no problem, brother. GMXRP, Sean Kiyogima gets their first month sub with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And that is my face superimposed on that emoji badge. Dr. McLovin, Bradley X. DeBruin, and Peach Fetty get their second month with the Dusty House Crypto News. Please give a thank you to William Hayes. What a generous guy. Says paying it forward, paying it forward. I appreciate that. Shane says confidence. That's awesome. It's all an illusion. Welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year. Adrian, thanks for your first month. Love it. Thank you so much, Adrian, for being in here, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, evening. War is coming. Metal will run more. Absolutely. If you don't have precious metals, it's going to be a pain. It's going to be a pain. At some point, we're going to get to new all-time highs here. Again. Mr. Stott, welcome in along with Mrs. Stott. Thank you so much for being so loyal to this community. Man, are you both just a bright light for me. Seeing Mrs. Stott in here every day with you as well. Families that stay together win together. You can play together too, but we won't talk about that. Knick Knack Paddywhack agrees. Not about that statement, but about what I said before. Dan, thank you for 6 months. Creamy goodness, welcome in crypto drop to give the big money the finances they need to cover the silver short in 2 to 3 weeks. I don't want to go into that yet, but I know exactly what you're talking about. You are always bringing in the fire, and you always make me go off track. I don't want to go off track yet, but yes, you are not wrong, my brother. Jake, thank you so much for another $2.99 donation. C1, Jake says I'm off. Later, mate. Later, mate. I'm glad that I was able to help you out, and thank you for the generosity as well. Jacoby, thanks for the 1 year. And if you guys wonder, I don't worry about people leaving when I welcome the members. I say hi to everybody, whether you're a member of Tom's Army or not. I like to go through and at least run through one time, and right now I'm a little behind. But we got to read what we're going to read in a second about with the official documents. Tom, you fixed up your house, brother. That matters. I know, Define. It's true. It was an expensive thing, but it definitely was worth it. It was definitely worth it. And the truth is, even with what I paid in taxes and what I had to pay to fix my house up, I would have lost it all anyhow. XRP's down 60 something percent. The rest of the crypto market's down 60 to 80%. I would have lost it all for the most part. I would have lost pretty much what I paid. I would have just gave it back and not done anything. I agree, Jake, with the tax man, but you can't hide from him. Epstein's glad I paid my taxes. Yeah, I know. Bubba will be glad when some of you don't later. No, I'm just kidding. Jacoby, thanks for your times on for over 1 year at the I Told You So Bad. Garrus, yes, double live today, and thanks for your first month. Let's see. Juan, are you serious? 5 gifted subs from you as well. That's the second person who gifted 5 subs. Unbelievable. I don't know what I did to deserve this today, but I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much to both of you. Wow. Juan is in Tom's Army for 1 year. Second month now for Joshua on the gifted subs and A Balance. Levet and Zacharian or Zach Arian, thanks for your first months now. Thanks to Juan. And Czam, welcome back. Perfect person to get this gifted sub to. Back in 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Very vocal part of this audience. Second one. So, before I interrupt myself anymore, it's 37 minutes. How could it be 37 minutes? No wonder people are leaving. I've been doing this for 37 minutes and we haven't even got to what the topic of discussion was supposed to be. Oh, Lord have mercy. I guess I might leave too if I was these people. They're expecting to see something based on the title. I just went almost 40 minutes without even talking about it. It's what you do for us every day. Oh, thank you so much, Mrs. Stott. Shiitake. The shit take. The shiitake. I love that that's Mrs. Stott saying and Mr. Stott repeats it. 37 minutes and we haven't even got to the drugs yet. Nope. So here we go. 79 people in here, 79 likes. I'll take it. So this is released by Ripple. And just please listen to this as I read it. It's basically they're going away from retail and they're going to institute it with the banks and all this stuff as far as what is going on. Doesn't mean retail can't trade anymore, but they're focused more for crypto. The institutions are more forced on becoming a new style bank. The cannabis drug. I love it. So, because it's 420 in some places, 520 other places. For me, it's 623. However, I haven't smoked cannabis since Saturday, since I got some tainted stuff, and yeah, I'm taking a break. Believe it or not, it's been a week almost. Well, it feels like a week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 6 days now. Institutional demand for digital assets is steadily increasing, but participation in the over-the-counter, and this is the introduction. So institutional demand for digital assets is steadily increasing, but participation in the over-the-counter OTC digital asset market can create unnecessary risk and operational overhead. The reliance on bilateral settlement models dominated by retail brokers, which often misleadingly label themselves as exchanges, has created issues around fragmented liquidity, inherent systemic and bilateral counterparty risk. Sorry, that's too hard for everybody to read. If it's hard for me to see it because how far away it was, I can only imagine how it looks on somebody else's phone. If they're not on a tablet, at least. Market participants frequently face high, often hidden costs when accessing digital asset markets. retail aggregators, i.e., trading platforms, retail brokers, asset managers, neobanks, offering digital assets to their clients, must operate across a complex, fragmented network in which each exchange functions as an isolated silo for execution, custody, and credit. This structure leads to suboptimal client fill rates, elevated operational costs, and persistent counterparty risk, undermining both business stability and client trust. I believe Ripple came out with this now because when they have the Ripple Bank, they don't want to deal with this bullshit from everybody, so they want it to be right. So they can do exactly what they need to do with liquidity. Crucially, no two clients are identical. Retail aggregators, neobanks, OTC desks, and brokers all operate with different regulatory constraints, liquidity profiles, client mixes, and operational preferences. Therefore, any prime solution that simply replaces a web of bilateral relationships with a single, inflexible one will fail. Digital prime brokers, DPBs, must offer a common core of netting, credit intermediation, and risk control. Their value lies in achieving broad adoption through a standardized, modular platform that allows clients to configure the specific services they need without requiring fundamental code changes. By contrast, foreign exchange, FX markets operate on a mature, unbundled market structure. Electronic networks, ECNs, handle trade execution, prime brokers manage credit and margining, and settlement utilities such as CLS, continuous link settlement, provide centralized post-trade settlement, all while supporting client-specific configurations. Digital asset trading, however, still predominantly operates on exchanges. Most digital asset exchanges are vertically integrated, combining execution, custody, and credit within a single platform. In some cases, these venues also rehypothecate, which refers to the reuse of a client's pledged collateral for financing. What the hell kind of word is that? I know, rehypothecate, but geez, those Louise, those English tests here. Trading or to so rehypothecate, which refers to the reuse of a client's pledged collateral for financing, trading, or to meet the venue's own obligation at no cost. So that's the first page, and then we get into the guts. The FX versus digital asset settlement, structural differences, risk, and the case for debt settlement. So this is a digital assets overview and how it works. Digital asset trade, and this was released by Ripple. Digital asset trading developed on a retail exchange-centric infrastructure in which core market functions are vertically integrated in this model. Oh, it's on illusion. Thanks for the $5 super chat. In case you guys missed it, Tom gave out the perfect parlay for the Super Bowl Sunday. Literally called it to a T with confidence. And I did. I not only called who won the Super Bowl, but I called it by, 14.5, I think I said. I said bet Seattle 14.5 or more. I think it was something like that. Yeah, I went through it and I looked for the best outcome for Vegas, and then I weighed the user money. And yeah, that was a good day. It was a good day for a lot. Appreciate that. It's all an illusion. But yeah, I just used analytics to my advantage. And oh yeah, I even called the Drake May under. I called Stephon Diggs under and all of them. I said to play the under if you're picking. I called the Drake May under because so many people were betting him to have the over. It's like 90 something percent, and Vegas couldn't let that happen. Oh yeah, I hit a home run there. No doubt about it. I even sent my brother it. Oh, as a fact, I sent my brother it, so I have it on my phone. Ha. But anyhow, we got to continue this. But yeah, thanks for the call out, my friend. I do appreciate it. But numbers are more than just the charts. They just happen to help with the charts. If you guys want to, level up a little bit, I encourage you to join my my live. I mean my class. And it goes so much farther than just the charts. You essentially never even see a chart. Not yet. So I said, what did I say? 10 plus Well, I told 14 plus, but it just needed to be 10 plus for Vegas to clean house. But 14, I talked about the Drake May under and a couple of, yeah. I don't want to get into that anymore. Um, Crypto Cooter says nobody is more anal about the analytics than Tom. You got that right. Maple Man said that was epic time. I cashed in $550 on him. Holy shit. Really, Maple Man? Damn. Now that gives me confidence. But let's continue. I'll start from the beginning here. But that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, man. I love hearing that. Really do. I'm glad some of you took advantage of that. I was pretty confident about that, man. I came on and said this is what's going to happen. I never usually do that when it comes to sports betting. So digital asset overview and how it works. Digital asset trading developed on a retail exchange-centric infrastructure in which core market functions are vertically integrated in this model. Exchanges combine execution, clearing, credit, and custody within a single platform. Client collateral is frequently used as an interest-free working capital by the exchange. Settlement practices are inconsistent across venues, with some transactions settling near instantaneously and others subject to delays. So you might experience that in your own doing. Imagine sending something from like Kraken to somewhere else, and it says that it got sent, and Uphold, when I used to be a part of it, was synonymous for this. It would say your XRP got there, but Uphold would wait like a half hour, 45 minutes to an hour to let you have it available. So it's there, but they're not letting you have any. Anyhow, so this structure creates interdependent settlement chains across venues. Participants are often required to move assets between exchanges to meet settlement obligations, meaning delays or restrictions on one platform can prevent settlement on another. In stressed market conditions, these dependencies can cascade rapidly, amplifying liquidity pressure and counterparty risk across the system. The failures of FTX and Celsius demonstrated how quickly exchange-centric settlement models can unwind with asset mobility is constrained and financial structures lack transparency. I need to read that sentence again to make it hit home. I read it poorly because I wasn't stopping where I was supposed to. In stressed market conditions, these dependencies can cascade rapidly, amplifying liquidity pressure and counterparty risk across the system. The failure of FTX and Celsius demonstrated how quickly exchange-centric settlement models can unwind when asset mobility is constrained and financial structures lack transparency. This approach stands in direct contrast to more financial markets where standardized settlement cycles, centralized credit intermediation, and multilateral netting are designed to prevent cascading settlement failures across counterparties and jurisdictions. So when you look at this, you start off with the exchange-centric model. And yeah, it's a little blurry because I zoomed in so far, but it doesn't look too bad when I'm looking at it from your guys' point of view, actually. So exchange-centric model, you have in the middle, crypto exchange, you have execution. So you have custody, execution, credit, clearing. You see the market maker, retail trader, institutional investor on both sides of the deal. The exchange combines all functions. Now, in the second model, you have exchange-centric model, number 2. Client collateral used as working capital at 0%. Moves into settlement chain / interdependencies. You've also got client collateral used as working capital at 0%. Settlement instant for some, delayed for others. Then you get into here where it gets complex with the complex chain settlement. You have participant A, B, C, D. A owes B, but can't settle yet because it hasn't went through on one exchange or the other. So it causes an issue. Exchange collapse, FTX Celsius, equals client loss, equals liquidity crisis, eventually leads to market unwind. Lack of plumbing leads to fragility. So basically, Ripple is pulling the freaking wool over your eyes, and don't listen to them. They're basically telling you with the Clarity Act right now and the proper plumbing that this will never happen again. They're just jerking you off. Oh, I'm sorry, this is family friendly, so they're just yanking your chain. Herbapproach.com. Wait a minute, Elmer, is that Elmer, is that for herbal? Like the non Is that for more like honest question? Is that like no less chemical? Like you're not noticing any chemicals and stuff like that in there? Because that's the biggest problem right now with dispensaries in different places. So that's the number one goal for me is to find something like that. Oh, I understand it's smokable. I'm talking about is it clean? Are you noticing any well you probably aren't noticing it. Otherwise you wouldn't be telling us. And I know you're a pessimist when it or not pessimist, but you're really into stuff being on the good side and not with all the junk in it outside of even cannabis. So, okay, let me take a where's my phone? I'll take a picture of this because Julie actually found a place that maybe I'll give a shot and just see how it is, see what kind of reaction I have to it because I can grow in the summer outside, but this year is going to be a trick. Yes, we want very clean. I don't want none of the nonsense in it. There's enough of that everywhere. So yeah, that's the framework right now that Ripple released. What do you guys think of this? Everybody, a lot of people are like, is this going to lead to a pump? Not exactly. But I'm in Canada, sure if it's good for you. All right. Oh, yeah, that's true. You're in Canada, so I wouldn't be able to because they can't come across the border with it. Even though it's legal in Michigan. Stupid, I know. Um, so it's just an informational PDF. Escrow dump of anything. Yeah. The escrow dump we have going into Sunday. Which is ironic that it's on a Sunday. I think this is the second month in a row that the escrow dump's on a Sunday, if I recall, or 2 out of 3 at least. Um, so I wanted to get through all of that. Wow, 52 minutes already. That is incredible. I'm also glad we got to come back for a second live. I am. Today is Flash Deal good. Oh, excellent. You guys keep having that conversation. I don't want to get it blocked out by keep talking about it. Sometimes YouTube will block those comments out if I bring it up when somebody's commenting. I've noticed though if I don't bring it up because I don't have it on my tablet showing, unless it's a live class through Zoom. Let's see, XDC is down 2.78%. I want to answer the Bitcoin question somebody had as well. See, it's always been a problem for me if XDC broke this down because it breaks down the all-time pattern. I've talked about this before and I'll continue to talk about it. Is it possible that XDC actually did invalidate that entire inverse head and shoulders pattern? If it hasn't yet, it's on the verge of resetting at 2.2 cents. And then what? You know, we're on it. And is this just out ahead of what XRP is about to do? I don't know. Even with this expanding wedge that it's trying to break out of, it's still, that makes me look like a genius yesterday when in the end of the live, I said, all right, here's where we have to sell and take that 5-6% we made from down here, the bump. And said there was a shoulder head and this looked like a shoulder forming. So I told everybody I sold after that little swing up. And I was just going to let it prove it to me that it could even hold right here, which it did not. It's like every time it takes a step up, we get they beat the shit out of us. Now it's down about 4.3% from that area alone. And there was no volume coming up. Now, if this was an inverse head and shoulders, if you're going to do this, it's on the button here. It's coming through the neckline. So we're on the button. And that's a head and shoulders reversal. And man, oh man, it's like every single time they drive the price up, it's an intentional drop back down. And we end up farther down than where we started in most cases. I mean, look, Algo got all the way up to almost 9.5 cents. And now here we are right back down to 8.6. And this pattern suggests, and I've been waiting for 7.2 cents, as a lot of you know, for a long time. I just don't think it's going to hold. It might. I hope it does. But I think what's happening here is we might end up for a whole pattern reset to lower levels than we even started for a lot of this. And with the unfortunateness that most of these didn't do what XRP did and go up to their all-time highs in 24 and 5. In lieu of that, these are going to go to all time. I mean, that's a huge pennant to the downside. I mean, if this fell through, you're talking about the possibility of algo in a worst case flipping a freaking zero. Could you imagine if algo was under a freaking penny? That's what I mean. Like, we might get a 10x or 20x, but it might come from double zeros and things like that. My God. So there's going to be opportunity, but how much of the opportunity, even if we capitalize, are we going to be able to materialize? And here's my number one thing I'm going to tell you. Don't be stupid. If you cash out and you have gains, you take that money off the exchange that you're going to need for taxes and just do it at a 40% clip and then save whatever you don't use. All right. Fair warning from me to you based on experience, especially this year. Take out 40 fucking percent, just put it to the side. Keep the other 60 on the exchange so you don't, just in case you're going to lose it. Because the worst thing you can do is sell out one tax year and trade the next. Like, let's say you sold out in the end of 24 and you lose some of that money in 25. You still got to pay that tax bill from 24 and they don't care how much you lost. So what if you lose it all? You're screwed. That happens to everybody very often when they're trading and investing. That's the number one risk of investing nobody talks about. It's not actually losing. It's making a big score, not taking the money out for taxes, getting caught up in it, and getting into a different tax year and losing the money from the last tax season and not having the ability to cover it. Because let's face it, the gains made in crypto and stuff, when we have big moves, it's more than we could ever make at work. So, and Frankie Fresh, Clam Bellies. Thanks for being in Tanzania for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. I hope Janine is doing blessed as well as you. And I hope you, oh, I see your hand. I was going to just about to talk about the hand. It says hand is good, brother. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That makes me feel really good. I remember what you were going through for some time. Janine, if you're watching, love, I love you. I'm so blessed to have you in this audience, you and Frankie Fresh. And I love when couples are in this audience as well. We can just grow together so much. This is just unbelievable. I mean, the fact that IOTA fell below this, it's something I talked about a long time ago. If these patterns reset, and look, we couldn't even get past the lower cup. We're on the verge of falling out. Like things that we never thought you could see doubles. Who would have thought 6.7 cents in my audience if you weren't watching about IOTA when it was at a couple bucks? So I refused to buy any of this back in 21 when it was way elevated. Oh, Janine's with you. Excellent. Janine, I'm glad you're watching. Hello, love. Makes me very happy to see you here. I forgot to give the daily flex this morning in my live, and I swear I'm not doing it because Janine is here. But I finished my, I don't know what, my eonth workout. What's it been, about almost 4 years now since I got back into weight training. And no, I'm not crazy huge because I don't take roids, but I do it naturally and I do it right. But I think think we're getting there, right, guys? That's some pretty solid muscle, you know? I can't even believe that's me at 42. When I was 18, I was like 260 pounds. Now at 42, this is my arm. Doesn't seem right. I see Frankie's laughing. That's awesome. Oh, I appreciate that, Clam. I really do. Like, I've never been in such good shape. Like, I've been in shape, but not like this. Oh, wait a minute. That must be Janine, not Frankie. Was that Janine who said I look great? I can't tell anymore. But no, thank you both, for real. I love that you guys will have some fun with me. It makes me happy. Yeah, see, Janine. Thank you, Janine. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Hard Saying says, I actually regret missing the Solana summer of 21. You're not the only one. If anybody remembers, we got into Solana. It was at like 15 bucks. Wrote it up to, I want to say 80 something. And sold it before it ended up going out the galulis. Oh, yeah, it went to like 2, 3. Oh, I was sick. Yeah, I made money on other things, but imagine having it at 15 and selling at 80 like a dummy. And then watching it go all the way up to like 200, 300. You're talking about I cost myself another 8, 9x. Like I said, I'm not perfect either, especially in 21. I wasn't as bright as I am now. Let me tell you, I was a dope. I was good at what I did, but not this good. I can assure you of that. But that's what happens. You do something for 5 straight years without a day off. You have no choice but to become the foremost expert if you're doing it right. I'm not trying to steal your money. I'm trying to earn your respect, and along the way, maybe get the pay it forward mentality, or get some of you to join the live classes, which I think we're up to 44 members now in the live class, which is humbling at best. It's humbling. Let me tell you, it's a humbling experience to see how many people are gaining out of that. And you don't have to be there live. If you want to know more than just the charts, we'll get into the charts in the back end when we get more, when we get, more educated and more advanced. But if you want to know how I know what I know outside of just the charts, it's the place to go to. We go from the market fundamentals, but not even starting there. It starts with so much more. You can watch all the lessons after. There's a link in the video description below and or pinned comments, and this is me betting on myself, so I'm going to show it one time. If you want to bet on me, learn from me, and try to be like me, or at least the closest you can to be an independent trader with some of the knowledge I have. We've done 8 classes so far, and there's about 13 hours of learning. Now, we started with the DNA of money and the great transitioning, and that took us 4 lessons. And right now we're in phase 2, which is the purpose of investing and wealth preservation versus generation. So, and it's a really detailed, I tried to put it in the imagery so you guys can see exactly how detailed all of this is. And we learned about all the stuff you see in the image and then some. Next week, we have we might still be in phase 2 all of next week. I can't. And then after class on Wednesdays, we do something, if you want to stay after, every Wednesday. Like last week, we did the CME gap, which this is all going to be discussed in detail later on. Look at that. There's my video 4 years ago at the historic collapse when Bitcoin broke 40K and it ended up going down to like 15K or whatever. I remember all those videos. I don't even know why they're in members only. I don't even do members only videos. Oh yeah, I forgot about that momentary time when people wanted me to do too much. So I started putting it behind there because people pissed me off. Yeah, that was my kick to the nuts to them. I said, fine, you want to hear about anything other than XRP? I'm going to put it behind the paywall. And that was because people were being really mean to me. I remember that time now. Never mind. And then I said, I don't care how mean people are. Anyhow, classes are exceedingly worth it. Hey, Carl, thank you so much for that. Carl, did you see Maritime's question? What was the first 4 classes about? What was what was the first 4 classes about? Wasn't it just about that, Carl? What Maritime talked about? Wasn't that the exact thing we started out with the 4 classes to start? Because we start from the beginning of everything. Because you can't get into investing until you understand what real money is. Didn't we go over exactly that? Thank you. So, Maritime, that's exactly what the classes are for, brother. That's exactly what the first 4 classes were. There's over 5 hours of learning about that exact thing. It's within the title, my brother. The DNA of money and the great transitioning, homie. Got to get the mind right first. Market psychology. You need to know what real money versus currency versus store of value versus, and we even went back into other cultures. We go back into other time periods where different things were used as money and trade and things like that. Oh, yes. I told you, when you get in there, you're going to realize it's much more than a chart. We don't even look at a chart for probably 6 to 8 months. We have to build the base. We have to build our fundamentals. Once we got through there, now we go through an even harder part. And then we talk about why we invest. The rule of 72, how long it takes to make back money when you lose certain amounts, the hockey stick effect, and all this other stuff. Asymmetric math of recovery and all this good stuff, your financial North Star. There's so much stuff in there. So much stuff. I'm so glad you said that, Maritime, because it's so ironic that that's exactly what I started with in this class. That's exactly why I like precious metals, because I never sell them. I just buy them when I did. Maritime says you are legit, Tom. No doubt, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, My classes, I told everybody they were going to be shocked when they got in them because they were just going to expect to get into a chart. And I was trying to explain that when you deal with Professor Spica, not XRP Future Millionaire, we it's going. I teach it through Zoom. You watch it on YouTube to avoid the big fee on Zoom and the double charge by having to pay for a class and then pay Zoom monthly. And it's extremely expensive, over $100 a month on Zoom, because they want you to have the stored database. And I have a lot of data that's going to be there. And this is going to be a continuation. And Julie's like, "You're never going to stop the classes, are you?" I'm like, "There's always stuff to learn. As long as there's 5 people in there, even if there's not, I can continue to grow my database of classes." I always wanted to have a class lessons. I just didn't know really the way to do it in this community. I have 3 people, now 4 people. I apologize. 4 people that are part of the class that have no affiliation with YouTube or any of my social medias. Now that is pretty freaking cool, I think. Now I'm starting to reach other people. There's one person that signed up because they watched one of their friends in the class and they were like, "I need to learn this stuff." And they ended up signing up by word of mouth from somebody in the community telling them, like, "You need to look at this." And it started with the DNA of money. That's when I knew I hit a home run with the way I started it. Anyhow, I see some people talking about fasting. I love it. I've been fasting for almost 4 years without a pause. In October of this year will be 4 years. And I do 16 hours no eating, 8 hours on. But I'm like Elmer, I do eat meat. In fact, I ate a nice steak today. You know, it's good for my protein and my muscle building. Um, but I eat it very well done. I don't eat any raw meats. I don't like to see red in any meats. I don't eat sushi or any of that shit. My meat's going to be cooked, and it's going to be cooked well done to where I get people make fun of me all the time. I know I'm a pig, Elmer. If you need B12, that's a great idea, Elmer. That is an excellent idea. You can get a lot of it through eggs. Everybody, including myself, needs to eat more eggs. I know they talk shit about them, but um, it's but I would tell you to eat because you need a fortified food to get the B12. I don't necessarily know if you would eat yogurt. Maritime Duke fan, yeah, you guys really kicked the shit. Well, it was a good game, but you guys let us have it. You guys let us have it. So I think if we win the national title this year, it's going to be because of that Duke game. I'm not even joking. It made us learn a lot, see our faults. We're going to have to do better than that. Otherwise, we're not going to win the title. But yeah, Maritime, congratulations, man. I think Duke should have been number 1 after beating us, but I don't think we should be behind Arizona. I think that was a kick in the dick. How can Arizona be number 2 if we just beat number 7 Purdue on the road? Lost a close game to the number 3 team after because we had to play back to back against the top 7. And now today we played top 10 Illinois on the road. We've beaten so many teams in the top 10 by 40 points. It doesn't even make sense. Nutritional yeast has the B12, but only good for soups or what. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you really need it because you need it for your the nervous system, man. Your nervous system and your nerves, like for the health. It'll really help. Um, I'm trying to think of something that you could eat without, because I know you already talked about nutritional yeast. They say breakfast cereals, but don't do that. You don't want B12 at expense for yellow 5 and green 6 and blue dyes and red dyes and orange dyes and yellow dyes and all that sugar. You might as well just go get the diabetic pills because you're going to be diabetic if you keep down. It's just one of those things. You don't want to get some of it for junk. You know what, Elmer? I think that's what you need. You're right. You need B12, especially if you're feeling it at the tips. I have experience with this because of my past field. So you're feeling it in your fingers and your, what did you say? In my fingers and feet sometimes. So you feel like the pins, right? Like you kind of feel like a pin. Is it warm or hot too when you feel it? Just out of curiosity. I'm not a medical doctor, but this is something that was actually up my avenue when I was. You take a B complex vitamin, which is fine, but because it's a B complex, it goes with a couple of the different B vitamins. So you got B3, B6, B12, B. There's so many different B vitamins. It's insane. Itchy and hurt some. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Now, some people experience that with neuropathy, but that's not what you're dealing with. You're dealing with something different. I'm pretty sure it is a B12 because you don't eat a lot of meat. It would be a B12 deficiency. B12, B12. But you already talked about the nutritional yeast. I mean, the only other idea you could do is fortified plant milk. I know it sounds gross, but it has a lot of B12 and it would probably help you. Have you ever tried that? Especially with your diet? Wait a minute. Can you even drink? Oh, yeah, it's plant milk. You could drink it. It's fortified plant milk. Duh. That's why I suggested it. By default, it is maritime, but I don't know what value that has on the pricing, is the only thing. Yes, it's going to be a part of it by default because it is the gas token of the XRP ledger at worst. So they're going to need it for liquidity. And there's a reason why there's a billion tokens. Whether they want to make it at 50 cents, $2, $5, we don't know. It's going to be a big part of it, no doubt about it. But for what price? So that's not BS. The pricing everybody gives us is what's BS. So I'm not sure what the price is technically going to be, but it is going to be a part of it. I can't suggest fish, though, Nick, because Elmer doesn't eat meat. And I know some people consider fish a meat. So when they're, especially if they're not just vegetarian and they're actually vegan, they won't eat it at all. So that's what I mean. So that's why I would never suggest something like that. At least not to Elmer. But Nick, that's a great suggestion, honestly. And I know people are leaving, but we've done what we need to do today. We're just having a. I think everybody, do you appreciate how sometimes we have these discussions after an hour? I always say after an hour, it's my time. We're well over an hour, so now it's our time. And you know what I would suggest everybody in my audience? Get some plant blood. I know it's gross. Get some chlorophyll, please. It's the closest thing to our own blood DNA to where it can literally, it cleans our blood. It cleans our blood. And it cleans our internal setup. You know, I hate to kill the plants too because they have just as many feelings. Oh, wheatgrass, somebody asked me. Who asked me that before? If I ate grass. Elmer says, seen my veins swell my fingers. Okay. So I need to look this up because I want to look for something. Because you said you have finger and feet. Pain with swelling. I can actually get you the exact thing you need to eat now that you gave me that last variable. Hold on, let me type this in. Where was this? Where was that last thing you said? Shit. Oh, vein swelling. He is? Okay. Good time. Does that mean we get to have a night tonight? Does that mean me and him will be able to have a night? Yeah, see, fortified plant-based, but dairy as well. So if you can eat yogurt, I don't know if you'll eat yogurt, but you can find yogurt without any kind of nonsense in it. But you need B12 for nerve health. So what is the non-12? I'm missing one though. I know about the yeast we talked about. Forget the cereals. Fortified plant milk help. That's only the small amount. That's not the right one. For your veins though, there's a few different ones. You need bioflavonoid rich fruits. So you're gonna need like what's the ones? Oranges, strawberries. There's another one. Yeah, because the strawberries help to strengthen the veins in the walls, reduce swelling, and blueberries do the same thing. Oranges and lemons are good. Any kind of berries will help with that, my friend. Nitrate rich vegetables, nitrate rich vegetables, which would be beet, spinach, and kale. That dilates the blood vessel to improve flow. I know you already know about the fiber rich grains and all that good stuff. Healthy fats and spices. Now, that is a yes and no because it is an anti inflammatory, but to some people, it actually causes other issues by having the nuts and seeds for some. So I don't know if I would suggest that when with what you're dealing with. I would extra virgin olive oil cold pressed. I would definitely take a teaspoon maybe of, just eat it. Quantum token, what do you think about it? The new that if anything's gonna take over for Bitcoin from a ecosystem or from a standing of we need something to build a whole new system, it would be Quant. You wouldn't get XRP to flip the price, but if something was gonna do it, because it ties all the utility tokens and the actual infrastructure we need for all these tokens, it would be Quant. Absolutely. That would be the one that could go unabated in the future. But again, I haven't looked at Quant in a while because I have a fascination with it if it ever did break down to a certain level. And I've have it all charted out, as you guys know. I don't remember which chart it was. Definitely not on that stupid chart. Maybe it's Coinbase's. No, it's not Coinbase's because I have it all. I got it all out what I was watching a while ago. Definitely not that one either. Which one did I use? Had to have been a Coinbase one, I thought. Oh, what do I know? KuCoin? I don't think I would have used that one. I used to show this chart all the time. Which one was it? That's interesting. It has the support levels and everything on it. Now I got to figure it out. I haven't looked at it in so long. Oops, not QMNT. Oh, it might be Binance, actually, now that I think about it. Yep. You see how you don't need to look at anything, but if you know what you're talking about, you won't buy in the middle? Does anybody remember what I said about Quant for so long? Why I wouldn't buy it? Because I personally thought it was going to break down this pattern because it's a symmetrical triangle within a big bear flag. Well, maybe not a big bear flag, but it's a symmetrical triangle nonetheless. For ages, I've talked about this pattern on. I'm not going to buy it until this not only gets down here, but until it gets below. You guys know what I'm talking about if you've been a part of this. But isn't it amazing how I haven't had to look at it in months, half a year, and it's still in that same setup? And now it's actually down to where I was talking about. Now, if it breaks this down, and it can't come all the way through, like it can't just, hey, we're going to break down from 200 all the way down to 42, and then when we come below. But what it can do is what if you've seen a $5, $7 quant? If this whole market collapses, I'm serious. And then quant's 10x would be like $6 to 60 bucks, like that. These are the kind of things I'm talking about. And that's why I've been talking about it. And why I told everybody don't become the exit liquidity of all this shit. Because this is still in a very, very, very long pattern. And it might not break it all down. But what if it did go up, through, drops down a little bit like this? Now builds the appropriate pattern it needs to be more of a descending wedge. Straddles through. It can't come all the way down, remember. I got to find the place. Something like this. Maybe it creates the wedge up here, right? Creates this and then bounces out. But maybe, you know, that's we've got something happening here. Big time. Big bear. I'm going to do some research after this, and I'm going to get back to you because I want to go a little bit deeper into my nutritional side and look in one of my books. I have a book. It's a healing guiding, but it doesn't involve meats. It involves like Mother Earth, and I know it talks about B12 in there. I'm going to get back to you. I'm going to get back to you on this, my friend. Paying my doctor fees. Wow, $10 super chat. I really appreciate that, Elmer J. Fudd. But yeah, I want to look it up because I'm not going to say I'm concerned you're going to drop that, but I'm concerned for your pain. I don't want you to have to deal with that if you don't have to. And then I'm going to look at my supplements too, because I take all the ones without any bad stuff in it. So, and I like the drops and stuff. So I'm going to look through some of mine and see which ones are higher in B12. Because I don't like to take a lot of B12 because I get a lot through food. And if you take too much B12, it can make your sides ache and stomach ache and back ache. And there's a lot of stuff it can make ache. It's actually a big cause of I think pancreatic or liver failure. Especially the people who get the high level B12 injections, they're not good for you at that level. Some people are deficient, so they need it. But most people just take it because they think it's good for their skin or it's good for this other crap, which may be true, but at what cost? You know, at what cost? Like the Ozempic thing. People take it because it makes them skinny, but they look like this and they have no muck now. They lose their necks and they lose their muscle because Ozempic, it doesn't delegate between fat, muscle tissue, muscle. It doesn't differentiate. It just eats away at your body. And people are like, oh, I've lost so much weight. You see all the actors that are super skinny, and I've got aunts who are doing it, and they're super skinny now, and they're a little bit bigger, but they've lost they lose their neck. You look like this. You ever see anybody like this on Ozempic? Because it's eating away the muscle tissue. Don't do that. Do it naturally, folks. I was 270 pounds almost when I was in high school, early 20s at 200 pounds, 225 or 240, and then I started losing weight. Now I'm like 175 pounds now. And if I didn't have the muscle, I don't even know what I would weigh, but you got to do it right. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. You won't be here long enough to enjoy it. I can guide you with that. I wish I did a different channel for that in some ways. Why is Quant built as an ERC20 token? Not a coincidence. Absolutely not a coincidence. Totally awesome. That is on point. 100%. Mark Caston says, always late lately. I know, Mark, and it doesn't matter what time I go on. But no, it's better late than never. We're just having a conversation here now. What did Nick Nack say? Somebody said they don't trust that shit. I missed Nick Nack's comment. Or maybe I didn't. Pomegranate. That's actually not a bad suggestion. No, you're not dying. You're not dying on us at all. You've already fought the good, you've been fighting fights, so we don't want to lose you now. Quan ever have the price action of, oh, hell yeah, it has. Don't discount it so much, my friend. Maybe not to the level of Bitcoin, but it's had unbelievable movements from unbelievably levels in its past. We just got to find a chart that represents it. It wasn't always readily available with Quant, but it's had its moment. It's had its moment where it actually got all the way up to what, $14 billion or $12 billion valuation. But it had a moment where it went from what, $20, $30 all the way up to $3, $4. It hasn't had the movement like Bitcoin in the sense of how high it's going. But I'm saying, if Bitcoin one day the ecosystem falls apart and Ethereum ends up going down the wayside, which I don't think Ethereum as much as Bitcoin will go down the wayside, but there's definitely a back and forth feeling there. But now that the close has happened, before I walk out, now that the close has happened, and I'm just talking people out of here, and it's great because I'm trying to leave too, but I'm enjoying this conversation with the ones who are sticking around. I think it's pretty cool, Carl. I think it's pretty cool, honestly, what Zaman's doing. That was one formerly known as Zoom. That was the one that I actually, when I was using a cold wallet like that I actually enjoyed, was Zaman one. That was the one that I would talk about personally. If I was using a wallet, that's where it was at. I like that one personally. Is there a scenario where XRP breaks $100 a token? Probably not, if I'm being really honest. But you don't need it to. You don't need it to. There, for it to get to $100, we need a lot of liquidity, man. Now here's the scenario where, okay, in the scenario where maybe in a 1% chance that happens, this is what would have to play out. All these tokens that go goodbye by, 100% of the liquidity would have to find its way to XRP, or at least 95%, which right now we know isn't possible. And everybody thinks because they're going to be their own bank. And yes, Ripple, XRP is not ISO 20022 compliant. Let me say that again. XRP token in itself is not ISO 20022 compliant. You can put that pipe and smoke it. Put it in your pipe and smoke it. A lot of people don't believe it, but it's true. It's not actually compliant in itself for a reason. Because XRP has to be usable, not just decentralized, but centralized situations for a bank. You're starting to understand and connect the dots? XRP is the liquidity of the world's currency when they go to Ripple Bank, but it won't be used as the world liquidity. It won't have, the coin won't be $10,000 because of it, but they need it for the liquidity for the global currency in the digital sense. That is not incorrect. I just prefer for people to say it's the liquidity for the banks without it being the digital dollar, so to say, kind of thing, or digital token that needs to, run the world. But it's going to be the world's liquidity by a Ripple bank through the central banks. No doubt about it. Yep, only Ripple. Yes, indeed. I disagree. XRP is the world's new money. It's institutional settlement asset. Well, if you want to go down those lines, wouldn't XDC technically be the world's new money if you want to go by those aspects and with how you're trying to play it? We can all agree to disagree. It's the liquidity, not the world's new money. It's never going to be the world's money. It can never be the world's money. It's central. It's not properly stored. It's the world's liquidity. The big distinction. Is it too late to do crypto taxes? Been having it since 2020, but never filed it. Oh, fuck. If you go back and do it now and try to file it from 20, they're going to audit you. If you go back and try to do it for 5 years, they're going to come after you. You're better off. I don't know. I'm not a tax man. I'm not a tax man, and that's why I don't like to talk taxes. It's above my pay grade. But most people will tell you oh, I see what you're saying. That's what I'm saying, my father. The world's money will be oh, gotcha. Okay, then we're on the same page. I'm sorry. I thought you meant like, I'm sorry, totally awesome. I completely misunderstood what you said. Okay, that makes more sense. They can't audit everybody. They look for inconsistencies. So if you go to try to file a crypto tax for 5 straight years in the past, that would be an inconsistency they're going to see. I agree, Cannabis Podcast. I agree. But I'm going to end this because Julie's out in the living room. I want to go hang out for a little bit. Michigan starts at 8. Been a great conversation. Second live of the day. It's been a long week of lives and things like that. Totally awesome. I love it. I love it. That's a perfect way to put it. XRP is the liquidity for the central banks, and XDC R3 is all the world's assets. Amen to that, guys. You just seen a golden ticket. Go blue, Maritime. Go blue. And I know you're a Duke fan, and yeah, you feel good because you beat the #1 team. I'm thinking we might see each other in the Final Four. It might happen. Might happen. Why does Canton have a EVM sidechain and XDC is the only native EVM? Ooh, buddy. Ooh, buddy. I mean, I don't personally want to see it. If I'm being honest, I don't want to play Duke, and I don't think Duke wants to play Michigan in the Final Four. We both prefer for both of our teams to be eliminated before we face each other personally. But that's just a sign of friggin' respect. That's all that is. To acknowledge you don't want to play each other in the Final Four and you'd rather have more of a that's a sign of respect. But